In today's tutorial, we're going to be letting go and creating these beautiful, expressive, abstract colored skies. So grab your brushes, subscribe, and let's get into it. For supplies today, I'm going to be using a 30 by 40 centimeter canvas, a wide flat brush, and also a smaller wide flat brush as well. If you only have one, that's okay. A long flat brush, a small filbert brush, a palette knife. I've got a long pointy one, a flat spatula. You can use a credit card as well. And I also have a paper palette. For colours today, I'm going to be using crimson red, quinacridone magenta, light portrait pink, prussian blue, cerulean blue, cadmium yellow, and some titanium white. You'll also need a jar of water and a spray bottle as well. To start off, I'm going to be spraying my canvas. This is pretty much how I always start my process, using a spray bottle or a large brush. So I'm getting my canvas nice and wet, and then grabbing my smaller wide flat brush, I'm going to slowly just start off by mapping where I kind of roughly want some of the shapes and more of the more prominent subject. So I came across this really beautiful photo of a cloud, and I just thought I wanted to recreate it, but in a very much more abstract and elusive fashion. So my inspiration behind this piece is the beautiful sky and also some of the foreground, and I was just really inspired by the light pinks and the pastel colors in the palette, so I also wanted to apply that. So we're going to be using a lot of white mixing into our colors today. So I'm just grabbing cerulean blue, some of the light portrait pink, I'm adding some white into it, and I'm just really working on kind of color blocking where I want colors to go. I'm keeping my strokes very kind of short, and I'm just keeping them light. Spray your canvas if you see that it's getting dry, because we do want the colors to mix and blend together on the canvas as we're painting them on. So I'm just kind of blocking out where I want some of the sky to go as well, and then also where I want the big fluffy cloud. So the great thing about painting in this style is that we're not really going for a realistic looking cloud, so you can really have fun with how you paint and also the direction of your brushes. We are just going to be playing with color and giving off the impression of a cloud, so it really doesn't need to particularly look like one, which is what I find so freeing about painting in this style. And if you haven't painted in this more loose and expressive way, I highly recommend it, because it's a great way to just practice letting go of details and realism and just taking more enjoyment in the process of actually painting, and kind of feels like when you're a child and you just want to paint to have fun and you're not trying to create this perfect looking sky or perfect looking house or beach or whatever subject it is that you want to paint. So using my brush, I'm kind of going in with all of my colors. I'm not really washing out my brush, so sometimes I'm picking up some of the white and the quinacridone magenta, sometimes the cadmium yellow and the white, sometimes the cerulean blue. There's really no particular method to what I'm doing. It is just very much kind of following my rhythm and doing what feels right at the time. So sometimes I want to go for a slightly darker color, so I'll pick up some of the quinacridone magenta. Sometimes I want to go a bit more lighter, so I'll grab some of the light portrait pink or some of the cadmium yellow. So you kind of just go forwards and backwards with the colors, blending them together. We're not only doing one color at a time, because otherwise the color is going to dry and we won't really be able to see it when we go on top with the other colors. So if we use all the colors that we have on our palette simultaneously, that is going to allow all of the colors to mix and be together on the same time. So we will be able to see all of them playing and blending together, which is what's going to give us the really nice effect of the whole color palette. So I'm also grabbing some of the crimson red, because I personally like to do a variation of pinks. I think it can look quite cartoonish if you only do one color of pink. So I'm doing the light portrait pink, the quinacridone magenta with some white, and some of the crimson red with the white to give me more of a reddish pink as well. So I'm just colouring and filling in using my strokes. I definitely want the strokes to be visible, so avoid really mixing your paints together so that you can get these multicolored strokes as well, and that will give you a really cool effect at the end. Grabbing whatever white I have left on my palette, I'm going in the pink area of the canvas and I'm adding some small and light blue strokes in there, and this is to kind of connect the sky to the cloud so we can bring them together. Otherwise it can look like you have two different things that are separate from each other on a canvas. So something I always like to do is bring in the colors that are in one part and bring them forward into something else. So for example, the blue sky, I'm tying it into the big fluffy cloud that we are painting so that it can be all mixed together, and vice versa with the cloud. I'm going to be adding in some light pinks and some little strokes as well of the cloud colors into the sky so that it also ties in. And taking some of the white, I'm highlighting some places where I want it to be a bit lighter as well. Now grabbing some of the Prussian blue and the crimson red, I'm going to be mixing up a purple colour and also adding some white. And then grabbing my palette knife, I'm going to be quickly scraping off any of the leftover colour on my brush. And then I'm going to be placing it onto my canvas. I'm just kind of putting this down and I'm just gently dragging the palette knife away so that you can see all of the different colours that I've picked up, so between the white and the purple as well. And then I'm just dotting some white on top of the canvas before mixing some more purple that I'm going to add in because I want this kind of creamy pastel-y look to it. So adding a lot of white is going to allow that to kind of become a more creamy and lighter colour. And then going with the purple mix that I'm mixing, again, it's just the crimson red and the Prussian blue. I mixed some more of it. I then go ahead and pick it up with my palette knife and then add it onto the canvas close to where we've placed down the white as well. And then going in again with my palette knife, I'm just going to repeat what we did in the very beginning, and I'm just going to be slowly kind of moving around your paint. I kind of like to pretend this is like a part where you're frosting a cake. So you're just kind of moving around in these motions. Sometimes you can twist it a little bit and you can go forwards and backwards, and you're going to create these beautiful kind of textures of these waves almost, and I just really like the effect it has. So there is no right or wrong way to do this. Feel free to play around with how you're moving your palette knife because any way is going to look very unique and individual to how you hold the palette knife and whichever direction you choose to move it in. I then grabbed some more of the purple, so some of the Prussian blue and crimson red, and I've mixed that in again because I just wanted a little bit more hint of some stronger parts of purple on the bottom part of the canvas. And then to tie in the sky to the foreground, I grabbed some of the cadmium yellow that I had on my palette and I'm just very gently placing it on top without trying to blend it in too much because yellow does neutralize purple, so I didn't really want to blend them in too much. Then grabbing my long flat brush, make sure that it's nice and damp but doesn't have too much water on it. I'm just going to very slowly brush out the part where the cloud and foreground meet each other. I like to kind of blend and airbrush out the part so that you kind of get this kind of misty effect. and I just really like the way it looks. You don't have to do this if you don't want. You could skip this step. It's definitely additional, and you could just keep it how it looked before. But I do like this part where we kind of make it a little bit more blended together, and I just think it looks really pretty. Then grabbing my flat spatula, then going in, I'm just going to be dragging up my brush to kind of create these lines, and I'm going to be picking up sometimes some of the purple left on my palette and also going in and stamping it. So you can stamp and drag, and you're going to create these really kind of sharp lines. Grabbing my long flat brush, I'm going to take some of the colours I have left on my palette, and I'm just going to be placing these little short petals in and around the sky as well as the foreground. This is additional. If you like how your cloud looks, then you can stop here. However, I did want to add some more petals, and this is the fun thing about painting in this very loose and abstract way, is you can really pick and choose and customize it to however you like. So if something pleases you, then you can go ahead and do more of it, and if you actually think, oh, actually I want to just leave it as it is, you can always stop there and the painting can be done. So it's very, very much customized to how and what you like and in the way that you like. So my paintings are always just there to kind of show you the process, but it is very much a place where you can paint freely and express yourself in the way that you want, and take every painting that you make and make it your own, and add something unique to it, because the most important part isn't that you follow everything step by step, but it's that you enjoy and that you love what you are doing and how you are painting it. And that is the most important thing that I really want anyone to take from the way that I paint. It is all about enjoying yourself. There is no right way or wrong way, and it's just about having fun. And of course, in true fashion to myself, I'm going to mix some of the purple with my palette knife and my little filbert brush. I'm going to add some sprinkles all around the canvas as well, just to finish it off with some splatter. I got a comment saying that it isn't called sprinkles and it's called splatter. And I understand, but to me, I just really like the way it sounds when I say sprinkles, because it feels like I'm just adding the final touch on top of the cupcake. And this is the final result. If you enjoyed today's painting session, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. I post videos every week, and I'll see you in the next one.